Right, so the most budget to budget gear. We've got the British Army basher, we've got the old 58 poncho, got the old hexi burner, got the Mora knife, eBay torch. If you don't want the hassle of the solid fuel, you've got the cheap eBay gas burner there. Then we're going to come round to the more expensive kit, which is your custom knife, your Olight, your jet boil, huge tarp, your 10th wonder hammock, and then absolute far end of the scale, we've got the overland setup with the Ridge Monkey cook gear for outside cooking, Snowmaster fridges, another cooker inside, and then all your creature comforts. Right, welcome back. Okay, so this video is a follow-on to the budget stealth lightweight camp, whatever order you want to put that in, what I did it at the time. There was a lot of people in the comments section that enjoyed that because either they're new to this or they're looking at what options that they have for kit and what they need. A lot of people, they kind of go down the wrong path because they see all this shiny stuff and they assume that because it costs more that it's better equipment, and that's not always the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out the same gear I did on the last video, which is the budget basic kit, which still carry today. It's still bloody good kit. I'm also going to get, because I've been doing this a long time, I've acquired a few different options, so I'm going to get those options out and we can compare, contrast, see the difference between them, and we'll get a setup, that side of things done. We'll look at the price, we'll look at the bits and pieces on it, and then we'll go from there. Right, so what I'm going to do now, as you can see, got the burgeon just over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the DPM basher up just under these trees. What I'm kind of looking for, I've got a bit more room than on the stealth camp, and I can make a bit more noise. So what I'm looking for is just wider than the actual shelter it is. So imagine yourself laying down plus a couple of foot. Okay, so that's the different distance between those two trees. An ideal world is you want a little bit of an overhanging tree that you can just tie onto the middle and just pull it up a little bit. There's a dozen different combinations you can put this up. You can have it as a straight thing, you can have it as a straight over like a normal traditional tent. Pick and choose and play with it. Personally, I like to have 3/4 up the back and 1/4 coming down the front, and then you can see out the front, or just totally all the way down and one piece pulling up. Once you're in, unhook it. But it depends where you are, what you're doing, it's just playing with it over time. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so through there, I've got the landy, all my charging points and everything sat there. So over on this side here, what we're going to do is we have got a 10th wonder hammock and a DD tarp. Okay, this is just a different kind of setup, so you can have a look at that. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of hammock camping. Some people absolutely rave about it, but it's not for me. Because I'm quite heavy, I tend to be bananaed in my sleep, and I'm not too chewed about that. But it is a handy thing to carry because you can still set it up on the floor on your waterproof mat, and the one I've got's got a big mozzie net and everything in it, so it is, you know, if you are in the woods and there is stuff biting and that, you can get in there and you're not going to be nibbled all night and wake up looking like a bloody elephant man. So yeah, just an option. So here we go, you can see what I'm looking at now is which trees I'm going to use. Okay, so I was looking at that one and that one, but it doesn't, unless I was going to put the tarp along here and the opening on this side, it doesn't give me masses of room. In fact, I would probably do it that way if I wasn't doing this to camera. Then I could get in and out through here nice and easy. What I'll do instead is, it's no big drama, I'll just use that one and that one, and then I'll just put it slightly more at an angle, and then it gives me the little bit just running off the back. Okay, plenty of room. So as before, side pouch with all the tentage in. I prefer putting it in the side pouch purely because when you pull up, if it's raining, none of this is getting opened up and open to the elements or anything, and you can get straight to you've got your bungees and everything, and you've got straight to your tentage. So you can get that up and get your kit straight underneath it, so you don't have to worry about having a sleeping bag that's soaking wet through, or all your stuff all over the place, because you've scattered it all over to get to this. Okay, that's why these modular bags are absolutely ideal. Right, so I've picked my spot now. What I've done, I've just hung my burgeon up there just so it's out of the way. It's not too bad, it's middle of summer now, but if it's raining and stuff, you don't want it on the damp ground. So if you can find a little bit of a tree with either a snapped off limb, a knot, anything like that, hook it up, get it up out of the way. One, you're not bending down to pick stuff up, bonus, and two, your kit's not getting wet and dirty. So, right, I'm going to try and do this in 5 minutes, okay? It looks alright, ground's not too bad. Ideal world, you'd have a roll mat, but I don't carry it in my lightweight bag. So, yeah, let's see if we can smash 5 minutes. No mega rush with this, but it's something you want to just make sure you can do, isn't it? So what I tend to do is I'll roughly put it in the positions that I want it, but then as it starts to come together, because nothing's ever the same, it's not square, it's nature, you can just tweak and move and adjust, you know, how high, how low you want things. So like here, I'm only doing it round the tree, whereas if I know the first one, I'm going to do it doubled up. If I need more bungee, I can always do it back round the tree, and it'll give a little bit more length on it, because sometimes you just need a little bit more length, don't you? Okay, same kind of height. A couple of pegs. Get around the back. Nice easy access, nothing like the stealth video where I didn't have the option of walking round. I had to do everything from the inside, crawling. Okay, spare kit, so I didn't need any paracord this time, didn't need the third tent peg. And again, 58 poncho. There we go, so I'll be home for the night. You know, I was pushing a little bit there, but I wasn't rushing too much. But it's as easy as that. What I would say is, again, water can pool here if you had a torrential downpour. So what we could do is, again, from this branch here, this is what I was looking for, to the centre section here, just keeps this nice and taut, okay? Nice and easy. Right, so this time we've got the higher end setup, okay? This isn't high end, I'd probably say this is mid-range because there's a lot more expensive options out there. This is just as much as I'm willing to go as a spare setup, and it was just testing the waters to see what I liked. Not overly keen on this, like I say, but some people absolutely love it. Okay, so this is a 10th Wonder hammock, okay? It's a middle of the road one. It's nothing epic, but I'd probably say it's the cheapest one that I could find that had all the options, like the mozzie net on it, that had room to put a blanket underneath you, you know, the nice little options, but without going into the high-end, real expensive gear. The tarp it's a DD Hammocks tarp. Again, it's a very similar thing to the DPM Basher. Personally, I prefer that. The only thing that I don't like so much about that is it is only just big enough for you. So if it is raining a lot, you're going to have it really hunkered down so you don't get wet, whereas these are a lot bigger. It's also a downside as well, because that budget setup is pretty much wherever you lay down, you only need that little bit more space, whereas when you're going for the hammocks and you're going for the larger tarps, you need a bigger expanse, so you're going to need bigger trees further apart, and it gets harder and harder to find these little spots that you want to go to. Okay, so let's see if we can get this one set up. So, nice bag on this, real nice bag, and it all compresses down. What you do with this one, a couple of different ways you can do it. Some people have got this down to a fine art, you know, like I've kind of got my little system going there. So what we've got, let's roll the thing out. You can see where you're at with it. I've already picked my 2 trees, but it's something to bear in mind, that you've got to, you know, pace this out, because you've not just got the length of your body, you've then got the length of the hammock, then you've got the length of the tree straps as well. So that is some space. So what have we got? So what we'll do, that's either end. So what I'm going to do is, I've already got a strap in this tree ready, because I was trying to figure out which trees I'm going to have, and this is always the faff. So all you do with the tree straps is you just wrap them around a few times so that they don't actually damage the tree. Okay, and then on this side, because I haven't got the distance, I'm not going to use the straps on that one. I'm just going to put the straps round a couple of times and carabiner them together. Right, so I'm starting again. I'm going to stick with my comment of hammocks are an absolute ball ache, purely because the trees that I'd used, pulled it as tight as I could, got it all nice and tight, sat in the thing, the trees then bow in, you end up sat on the floor. What a pain in the arse. So unless you've got, you know, a good diameter tree, it's just a nightmare. So yeah, I'll stick to ground dwelling all day long. So let's get this tarp up again. Size of this thing. So now we can open it back up again, and we've got a bit more space now. Probably should have done this in the first place, but I wanted a more subtle setup, but I guess with hammock camping there's nothing subtle about it, is there? Right, so we've got half of Lincolnshire here. I might have to put you back over in South Yorkshire so you can actually see the scale of this. Friggin' bushcrafters, eh? Right, so 3 years, 4 months and 6 days into putting this setup up, compared to the, what was it, 2.5, 3 minutes of doing that one. You start to see the advantage of this one. Personally, I'm still not chewed for the hammock. The tarp's alright. Yeah, there's not a lot to say, it's just big, that's it. You can get smaller ones. So personally, I'd probably go for a 3x3 rather than a 4x4. It's what I've got to hand, and then the TW hammock, like I say, I'm not chewed about hammock camping, but if the weather is a bit bad, you could get 4 or 5 blokes under here and you could cook something to eat. It's right up out the way. I mean, I can just about stand under here, and there's no reason why you couldn't have it higher again or higher at the front, but this works for what we've got. You ready for this? This could be the intro video if it goes wrong. Ooh. See, I won't worried at all. So yeah, it's this whole hammocking. It's not for me at all. And you can get in, get the fly net over you. But nah, once you shuffle yourself in, you're in. You've got your shelter around you. It's okay. I don't find it that comfy. It's nice to sit about during the day, but other than that, no. It's nice for chilling and having a beer, but other than that, I'm not too fussed about it. Yeah, ground dwelling it is for me. What would be a nice setup, if you're not far from your vehicle, is probably one of these tarps and a fishing bed. That'd be kind of the right way to go with it if you wanted to be comfortable on the ground and have loads of shelter. But you can't carry a fishing bed round with you. If you get into carrying a fishing bed round with you and you're taking that kind of size and weight, then you're looking into the territory of like overland tents, aren't you? So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. Right, okay then, so we've got both setups up and running now. So over here, old DPM basher. Right, I saw these brand new, unissued, still in the bags at a show the other week for £25, which brand new, that's decent price that. Underneath you got the old 58 poncho, that's what you sleep on. Okay, so that's that setup pretty much done. Over here, just watch these lines, we've got the TW, I think it's a Hornet hammock. These, I can't remember how much this was, I've had it for years. It was between £50 and £100. If you've got big established woodlands, it's alright. If you're messing about with little trees like this, it's not ideal, especially if you're a bigger bloke. The lighter you are, the more you're going to enjoy this. Okay, so we've got a huge 4x4 tarp. Personally, I'd go for a 3x3. Because as much as this is an awesome admin area or something like that, it's not ideal if you're on your own. You can pull it right down, you can get it all nice and tight. You don't have to use the whole side of it, but with a 3x3, I think you can get as much out of it for one person. But that's personal preference. You can also get this in their version of DPM. It's not DPM, but it's close. So yeah, that's that one. Let's have a look at some smaller bits of kit now. Right, so we've got a few options here, okay? So you saw in the last video where we went totally lightweight, totally budget, and we had the hexagon burner, okay? These are for the pennies. I mean, I can't remember the last time I bought one of these, but you're looking at a few quid and you're going to get the solid tablets and the hexi burner. Great system if it's in just a bag and it's pack and forget. For convenience, they're a little bit of a ball bag. So for budget wise, although these are cheap, very, very cheap, and there is, I mean, you can't get more reliable than that. You could burn sticks on it. So yeah, you've got the few quid mark, okay? The next one from it, and I've had this one for years and years and years, it's the small gas burner, right? You can find these on eBay, you can get them in camping shops, what have you. These are between £5 and £10 usually. You can get a bit better make ones for a little bit more money, and basically just be a better quality manufactured. It'll do a similar thing. They come in every shape and size. That has been in my bag for quite some years, that I carry for work and whatnot. The next step up is when you start to go to like your high quality. You can get high quality and lightweight, or you can get high quality and comfortable. I've gone for high quality and comfortable purely because I've usually got the vehicle. I'm overland type bug out vehicles. That's what I do. So I've got this Ridge Monkey, which you all know I've got a bit of a fetish for Ridge Monkey gear because it just works. This is the Quad Connect stove, and basically the beauty of this is, so on here, this is your second burner. So they're just the little holders that hold the pans. I'll show you that later on. So on here you've got a real good quality press bit of kit. You've got the igniter on it, and you've got your own little control, so you can, you know, have it hot, cold, what have you. All the legs adjust, so if you're on an even surface you can square that away, and then all that does is it comes round the back and then it just quick connects onto there. Okay, so then you get your two. Reason I like this system is, one, it's very, very low down, so the chance of actually knocking it and it falling over and you burning yourself is low. Two, it's got a very good wind deflector, so you don't have to worry about it, half your heat disappearing and just it never boiling. Three, it's just a really, really well made modular system that they've got going on. Everything's square, everything's compact, everything goes together. I've nearly got the full set. I think the only thing I'm missing now is the big case that everything goes in to just pack it away. And the clever thing that they've done, like I say, it's all square, so it's a square kettle, it's square pans, it's square cookers, and it goes in a square box, because you try and put 2 or 3 round items together, it's dead space. So anyway, that's why I like that. Awesome bit of kit. Again, it just runs off your little gas bottles, so you've got like an isolator there, you can turn that on. Once that's on, you've got your 2 controllers, big fat controllers here, and that's that system. So grand scheme of things, you've got this, you can buy in 2 parts as well, by the way. You've got your between 2 and 5 quid burner, you get between your 5 and 10 quid burner, and then you've got, if you buy the entire setup on this, about £80 burner. And it's, again, one of these things might not be for you, but the other one might be, and vice versa. They've all got their own place, haven't they? So they're the kind of different options you've got going on there. I've got these live in the Land Rover now, but I still carry this one and this one. It's just they're carried in different bags depending on what I'm doing. So like the Hexi burner goes in the more traditional basic budget kit. The gas burner, that just goes in my little bug out bag, because I might just want a brew sometime. And then you get the big posh burners, and they sit in the Land Rover, because on my drop down table, it's just, when you get out of bed in the morning, it's perfect. Okay, so the next subject, and this is an even more personal one, everybody's got their own say on this. There's 1,000 different kinds of blades. You know, there's everything from your everyday carry kind of blade, where you can just open that up, you know, you've got a nice sharp cutting edge, but you can't batten with this. It's not a bushcraft knife, it's not what it's for. Then you've got your beginner's bushcraft knife, which is your Mora. Okay, it's Scandinavian grind, like I say, these are about 10 to 12 pounds. Brilliant beginner's knife, and it's always a great backup knife as well. Like I say, basic plastic, ugly, horrible sheath, but protects the blade. It's got good retention, it's got a belt loop. You can't ask for more than that. Your next step up would be something like your BK2s, your K-bars, or your British Army survival knives. They're the next markup at around £50 to £100. I don't have one. I went full silly and I knew I wanted that one, so that was the next one that I bought. They fill the gap. The British Army survival knife, it's very crude, it's not ground overly well, but what it is very strong and tough, and something that you can batter and it not die is, you know, it's what you want. You can have them refined back, like Scott from Wessex Blades. He refines them and turns them into a very nice knife. He puts a lot of hours into it, so obviously you've got to pay for that. However, what you've got is a good steel, a very solid platform, and a good shape that's then refined by someone that, you know, he's good at refining these things. Personally, I carry a couple of knives. So this was the first expensive knife that I bought. This is a Doberman knife. This is a Hellhound. It is insanely thick, because at the time I was into hatchets and axes, and I said, make me a knife that's like an axe that I can batter stuff with. I've had prized fire doors open with this. I've chopped out sections of wall with this. I have abused it, and just kept sharpening it up, redoing it, reusing it. Ideal world, I'd have a little bit thinner one now that I'm a little bit more intricate with them. And this was around, I think it was just shy of £300, which is a hell of a lot of money, but it's a once in a lifetime purchase. And a lot of these items are once in a lifetime purchases. So it depends how you want to go with it. You've got the disposable society, cheap and nasty, it breaks, doesn't matter, you get another one. Or you get you buy it once, you look after it and you have that and you pass it on to your kids. So it may be expensive, but if you divide how many times you take that out and use it by the lifetime of the blade, it becomes very, very cheap. Another minefield is torches. So with the torches, again, like a lot of other items, there's 1,001 to choose from. There's different shapes, different styles, different uses, different batteries, different charge systems. So it's one of them things where you want to find something that suits you. I'm one of them people that likes multiples on torches, just purely because I like to be able to put my hand on one. If I go in the Land Rover, I've got one always on charge in there. You know, if I've usually got one in my pocket. There's usually one in my bag as well. It all adds up to weight. However, it's little items that if you need it, you need it. So budget end, this is eBay special. This is one of my favourite ones. I think this was £7 or £8. Okay, so you've got you can focus it in different ways. Okay, so really, really bright. You can focus that down to a beam, or you can have it as a bit of a flood. It takes a single-use battery, but that single-use battery lasts a long time. I've not changed this one yet this year, so you can't fault that. It's quite a strong thing. Bit of a rattle in there somewhere, but that's what you're going to get for something that's mass-produced and cheap. I've not managed to break this in a year, so I can't fault it. The other end of the scale is when you start to get to the high-end stuff. There's 2 or 3 in between these torches, but I got sent this one out, and I'm not keen on the... I suppose if you had a duty belt or you had a chest rig or something, you had to keep hold of this in. But personally, I've got no use for that. But you have got a couple of nice clips. The difference with this is well made. It's got 1,000,001 features. You've got the opposite ends of the scale because you've got £7 and these are like £75. Is it 10 times better? They both light up really, really well, so I wouldn't say it's 10 times better at just lighting stuff. I'd say it's better because it's got more features and more uses. I don't even know what half the uses are. The main thing that I like about this, the main one, and same as my other torch, is I have that plug in my Land Rover at all times. As soon as I put this or my other one in the Land Rover, it hooks on and it's charging. You get a little light on here. When it's red, it's still charging. When it's green, it's fully charged. When I want the thing, that stays in my charging point and I just pull it and then I'm away. That's the main reason I like that. You've got on the rear of it where it charges, that's actually a button. If you just press it quickly, you've got a silly amount of light, like ridiculous amount of light. If you press and hold it, it stays on. If you push it really hard, at the top of it, you can turn the thing on or double flash and it goes silly bright again. It's got all kinds of woozy features, like it turns itself off after a while if you're in a tent, things like that. You can see the many videos on it. There's an offer on these at the minute. I've got a link in the description for that, but you're going to get it as a kit with this bicycle mount. I don't own a bicycle, but I do have a tactical shotgun, so that'll be going around somewhere on the shotgun and try and get that on the side of it, and then you've got the little thumb light there, so multiple uses. So yeah, weigh that up. Personally, I'd have both, because you can never ever beat lots of cheap torches, because sometimes it's dark and you just need them. The one that you're going to have to hand, ideally, is going to be a better one, but like with a lot of this kit, you buy the cheap one first and you use it, find out what you like about it, and then you look for a better one, a second, and then make the cheap one secondary as your backup. 2 is one's none, isn't it? So yeah, there's no end of different things with that. I think that's the main kind of things that we're looking at. So we've got cook systems, both ranges on that. We've got knives, both extremes on that. Torches, both extremes on that. And then we've got the shelters, both extremes on that. So yeah, I hope this has been of use to you. And if there's anything else that I've not covered on this, that I've got both extremes of, I'll get this kit out. But that's my kind of thoughts on it and why I've got what I've got. But what I would say is, if you're building it up from a start, get the cheaper one that's known to work well and known to work for a long time, and have that set up and use it. Main thing is use it, get proficient with it, and then look at getting and upgrading, but never getting rid of your original kind of working setup unless it just doesn't work for you. And always have the backup, because it doesn't hurt to have two kits. Because again, if you want to go out and you've planned something and your high-end one breaks, it's no big drama because you've got another one. You know, it's not the Gucciest thing in the world, but you know, it's there. Can we get? Yeah, that's that one, and that's. Yeah, you see, I thought this was really, really bright until I got this one. But yeah, it's preference. So again, you can see where the quality is when you just pick them up. This weighs like 5 times more. It's got a lot more steel to it. This is a much cheaper steel than this one. This one's, I think, 52-100, semi-stainless, I think that is. This one's got just a small tank. This one's a full tank, which means you can beat the crap out of this. You're not going to break it. This one you will eventually. So, but £10, £300, you are paying for better stuff, but it's not always. Like I've said with the tarps, I still like the 20 quid one over the 50 quid one. But like I've said many, many, many times, don't just take my word for it. Don't just take your favourite whoever for it. Take multiple views on it and find out what works and what suits you. Right, so I hope this has been of use to the newer people and some of the other people that have just been looking at kit. But like I say, there is more expensive options, and most of the time it is better, but not always. It's personal preference. Best thing I can say is if you can find some of these meets and things up and down the country throughout the year, there's loads of Facebook groups, loads of YouTubers that put meets on and stuff. Get on it, and when you go out there, take your system, what's working for you, and have a look at what everyone else has got. Eye it up, get a feel for it, see what you think, and make an informed decision from there. One thing I'd say is, if you've enjoyed this video, it's not ended now or anything, but if you can hit the like just below, and if you haven't subscribed, worth a subscribe. And for those that already have subscribed, YouTube's changed yet again, so just make sure you've clicked the bell icon, and it'll come up 3 options. If you just click all, you'll get me updates. So awesome. It's the person that said blow your nose. With my attitude, do you think my nose hasn't been broken a few times? Right, so it's snap time now, so not going to mess about with all the budget stuff at the minute. I'm just hungry, so what we're going to do, I'm going to get the big ridge monkey pan. If you've not seen these ones, these are ideal. You can cook stuff in different compartments, because you know it's like on a little gas stove or a little camp fire or something like that. You haven't got the option of having multiple pans on multiple burners, so you've got this option. You've got to be very careful and time everything right so you can do it well. Also with this, it actually splits off into 2, and what you can do is you've got click-on handles. So it's absolutely ideal. Again, like the toasty one, you can clamp it down, and it's a bit of an oven. You just got to be mindful if you are on gas, it does give a hot spot. Like a muppet, I've broke this handle, so just got to be careful because it's a little bit loose. What happened was I left the handle clipped on, and I moved my Land Rover and it fell off the worktop and smashed that bit there, because it's I think it's cast. But either way. So what we're going to do, move a nice little kettle. Get that turned right down. What we're going to do is, how we're going to do this, put these in the big bit. Some beans. Just getting rid of some old stuff. I've had this in the Land Rover for a couple of years now, so it's about time that stuff gets used, isn't it? I've just been in the deep down pocket in one of the storage areas and found some powdered milk that's 5 years out of date. That's that's some going, that, isn't it? I think that can get sacked off and get a new one. Normally don't eat a lot of this tin stuff, but I just left the house and I just had a window, so I left. Luckily, I do tend to keep odds and sods in, so I grabbed a milk and a bacon out of the fridge of the house. Everything else is all in the landy. Save that bit for the morning. Well, like I say, nothing fancy. It's just nice to use different bits of kit. This cooker's new to me, so I'm well impressed with it. Like I say, it's very heavy, very bulky, so unless you are fishing, overlanding, something like that, probably not the most ideal option. However, for what I'm using it for right now, this is better than the twin cooker that I've got inside. So I'd say the heavy and bulky was definitely worth the trade-off. Awesome, slowly coming together now. What I'm trying to do is build like an outdoor cooking area, so I can pull the awning out, I can drop the table down, I've got my chairs around, I can get the twin burner out, get the pans on, I've got the kettle and everything just here, everything goes in the cupboard just inside the door, and it's starting to work quite well, because I prefer to cook out here, it's just nicer. The only time I really use the cooker inside is for my first coffee of the day usually, or if it's absolutely freezing cold, like out January, whenever it was, when it was snowing outside and that, it keeps you in the shelter, doesn't it? But ideal world, I don't like cooking in there because it stinks the place out a little bit. Not bad for clearing the cupboards. I don't know if you can see it. Excuse me. Just looking off into the distance there. I can see a big fat rain cloud coming, so 50-50 whether I get back on the hammock, because I've had an hour or so just chilling, playing with my phone, swinging away on the hammock, having a cider. It's been nice. I might sit under there while it's raining. I'm going to have to get used to turning that down a bit before it comes on. That fits snug on there, I like that. I don't know if you can see, there's next to no air gaps, so the wind really isn't going to be that much of an issue, which is nice. So everything's square, it's tidy. It's very simple, and it's simple things that really amuse me, that I like. Simple things, simple minds, just tidy. One thing about these, I'd like a little holder, because when it's in the cupboard, that's annoying. For it. I wonder if I can jam enough kit in here. So this is why it's great to get out and test kit, because the thing is, you're constantly playing with it. And while you're constantly playing with it, it evolves and evolves and evolves. And if it doesn't evolve, you're doing something wrong. You might have a system that works, but if you don't evolve it, you might not have one that's better. And you also know what doesn't work if you're in a pinch. Right, time to chill now. This is my time. Have a drink, check some notifications, things like that, go through some emails, but there's no rush, there's no race, there's no nothing, it's nice. What do you reckon to the, done the new intro? I've cut it down a little bit. It's catch-22. You want to put it at the beginning of the video, because there's a lot of new people come on, and it gives a little glimpse into what the channel's about. But at the same time, there's a lot of you that come back time and time and time again, which is appreciated, and I don't want to do your heads in by hearing the same boring thing over and over again. So I've changed the music, I've changed a couple of the clips. I'll give it a few more months, I'll keep doing that, so it's not, you know, it's like sometimes you hear that music or that same thing and you just think, oh, and then you get into skipping, don't you? So yeah, cheers. Right. No, it's good to air that kit out. And it's like, what a faff in here, getting that up. I don't know. I think last few times I've used a hammock, I've not had as much issues, because what I've done is I've got, you know, the ratchet straps, not the lorry ones, but the smaller ones, like the 1-inch ones, and I use that, and that's how I get my tension on it. So no matter how much you kind of spring it down and all the rest of it and pull the trees in and stuff, you can stand back up, ratchet it a couple more clicks and stuff, and it's a bit more taut. But this time I've don't know what I've done with them. They've gone anyway, so yeah, 50-50. I don't know whether to sleep in there, and I know I'm not going to get a great night's sleep, or just sleep in the landy. Or I could just do what most YouTubers do and just pretend to sleep in there and just do a closing shot with me going to sleep, and then jump out in the morning and go, oh, I didn't sleep too well, oh, it was okay though. They do it, they do it. Yeah, I think the next edition on this, I'm just waiting for my mate to finish sewing the big canvas awning, but then I'm looking at, you know, the Oz tents, the RV whatevers. I'm looking at them and a few variants of them, because I like the idea of having, like, at the end of my awning, another little room. So if, say, Stu usually turns up early hours of the morning, so if I get there, I can put that up, get it all set up, so it literally pulls up, gets in bed, done. Or if, like, the little one wants to come, you know, I can either dive in the tent and she's in there, or whatever. It just gives you options for more people without everybody jamming into a small space. I like the idea that they just pop up real quick, but I've heard a few things where they're alright in summer in perfect conditions, but I don't think they're amazing if the wind picks up or anything. But I've never had to play with them yet, so it's I don't know yet. Either that or a hard shell roof tent, I don't know. I do fancy one up in here, but it's just as and when they pop up, isn't it? Every now and again you might see an eBay bargain, but it's the wrong time of year for it, because whenever it's summer, everyone's wanting a premium for all the camping gear out there. So I tend to wait till like middle of winter when everyone's fed up and clearing the garages out. Rain's coming in. Right, just a quick comparison, because it started to rain now, so I might not get this later on. So, comparison with the eBay torch, and then that can zoom in to a small point. Okay. Then the O-light on its normal mode, and then O-light on its extreme mode. I'm going to do this quickly because the camera auto adapts, but that's the eBay one and that's the O-light one. Okay, back to the eBay one, O-light, eBay. Oh right, I tell you what, I could see the rain coming for ages on the horizon. A good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, you could see it just slowly rolling in. and all of a sudden, within the space of probably 15 minutes, temperature must have dropped 10 degrees, at least 10 degrees, and yeah, it's just started hammering it down. So I tell you, first time I felt cold in weeks and weeks, if not months, and it's nice. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the bed set up in here because I've jumped in for shelter, and I'm just going to chill out for a bit. It's lovely. That's in the back of the landing when the bed's set up. That's about how much room I've got. I feel a bit cheated now, dived in the landy, and that big black cloud, I think it's just skimmed the side of it. But nice and comfy in here now anyway. Just going through all social medias and things like that, just on Patreon now. Just put one up, see if there's any more by the morning. But here we go, shout out Urban Arc Overland. Anyone wants to see his vehicle, it's in what makes the best bug out vehicle. It's the fella with the really shiny 110 Defender and the lightweight trailer. And here we go, Alexander, you want a shout out for, where are we? I've seen it. The Star Walker project on Facebook. Just had a quick look now. That looks awesome actually. He's in the deep south in America, and he's got like an off-grid property. And he's got like, they look to me like yurts, but he's got a specific name for what they call them. And he's going to do some, what's he say on here? He's going to do a series of off-grid vehicles in the south of the US. So yeah, I've just clicked like on that one because that's a new one to me, and I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Morning, right? Great night's sleep, really good. I think I woke up once. I heard a noise in the night, sat up real quick, and headbutted me water boiler. So yeah, that's going to get moved. I managed to wedge myself right into the corner for some reason, and you know it's like when you get up, you just. So anyway, priority now. Let's get some coffee. What I need to get is one of them. I've got one of them. Is it a cafetiere? Coffee makers. I've got one of them at home, so I just need to get an outdoorsy one. I don't like the pressers. They always leave bits in, I think. So anyway. So let's see how this does. It's been out all night. I actually wanted to get it wet and abuse it just to see what happens. So let's tip some water out. Everything's sodden. We had some right rain, but it's been stupidly humid, so it's nice to break it. I do like that. Everything's square and just clicks. Right, so storage systems in the door. Tea, coffee, sugar in order. So coffee and sugar. In fact, I'll turn the fridge back on now. I always turn my fridge off overnight. One, I don't like the whirring when it kicks in and out. And two, for the few degrees that they go up, why use the electric at night when there's no solar going in? So let's have a look at this. Snowmasters, you get this remote, little solar panel on it, so you don't have to worry about this. Actually got on the dashboard and it does its thing. You've even got a little torch on it, you know, so you can find stuff. You don't need it for looking in the fridge, so it's got a light in there. But let's get this thing back on again. Right, so it's gone to 8 degrees from 3 or 4 degrees, so I don't think that's too bad overnight, because I went in it a couple of times. You get a battery readout here, how much is left in your battery. I need to fit the new batteries because this battery is absolutely knackered, and that's what we're on now. So as soon as the sun comes round, it should start charging. That'll go up as well when the compressor turns off. Right, so everything's soaking wet, so it must have rained for a lot longer than that brief bit. But it's good. I mean, this has been in the Land Rover for years, so it's good to get tentage out and to get it aired out, because when I pulled it out, it did still smell of smoke even after all this time. So it's good to get the lot all aired out and give it all a bash. Right, so what I'm doing now, I've just packed the hammock away. You can see under there, that's squared away now. Got quite a bit of residual water on here. Because we're not in the sun, it's not going to dry out. You can bang it, all the rest of it, you'll get some of it to go together and come down, but that's not going to really do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the ridge lining, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the four corners off so the whole thing is vertical. That way the water can drain off of it. We'll give it 20 minutes while I have something to eat, and with any luck that should have dried out a bit, because you want this as dry as possible before it goes in the bag, because there's less chance of it going mouldy, horrible, minging, and just basically rotting and ruining itself, like my old awning did. So yeah, that's what we're going to do now. So we're just untying, and then we'll just leave it hanging. There we go, so that's hanging now. A little bit of insulation. The Labrador effect. Right, let's give that 20 minutes. Right, so still on with the budget versus high-end thing. Chairs. That's probably the comfiest chair I've had. It's a go outdoors, high gear, cheapo special one. It's not as cheap as a motorway service station one, but it's cheap as regards like camping chairs. I want a little bit comfier one, but it's finding one that's, you know, for a decent sized person. Never know which way to go. A few of the lads are getting fishing chairs, which they're good, but they seem to be quite firm and really, really low down. And with my bad back, I don't like going all the way to the floor, having a few beers and not being able to get back up. So I'm not sure which way to go. I got promised an ARB one umpteen times ages ago, but that never appeared. But I don't know, what's your recommendations on chairs and stuff? Because that's getting a bit battered now, so that's going to go again to the reserve chair for when someone else comes, and I want a nice shiny new one. So yeah, let us know what your preferred chair is. Right, not really hungry, but if I don't eat now, I'm not going to get a chance to eat till tea time, so I'm going to have a little bit of leftovers from yesterday. I can use a different pan today. I can use the sandwich toasty majig. This one, you can see I've had it on campfires and stuff. Looks a bit tatty, but it still works just fine. This one's ideal if you're doing sausages and things. Do you know you get all the excess fat and all the rest of it? You can pour it over the grass, just tip it out, but you can keep it nipped shut, so you can keep draining off all that excess gunk and fat and all the rest of it. And you don't get spat on because it's got the lid. Inside it, I got the extra tool holder. It's not a tool, but you know what I mean, utensil holder. So right, I'm going to get the kettle on. We need another brew. That's firing up nice now. This one's still soaking wet. So this is going to take some lighting, isn't it? Oh sheet. Right, so I'm going to put the kettle on that one. That's out of the way. Let's get this one turned right down. Little, what you call it, slices, and have it as a layer. So to make sure it's cooked nice quick, nice easy, I'm just going to dice it all up, and then I'm going to chuck an egg in there, and it'd be like an egg banjo, but with a bit of bacon grill in there too. Really nothing special, nothing pretty looking, but it sticks some food down your neck, doesn't it? Just trying to be careful now, because obviously that's metal on these stick-proof pans. It's not ideal, that's why they give you the, well, they don't give you this, a little extra. You get the little spatulas and whatnot for turning stuff around. And you've got to look after that coating, because what I tend to do is I'll put a bit of boiling water in, make sure it's all nice and soft, and then just get a baby wipe, wipe it all out, get a clean baby wipe, done. There's no mega cleaning involved because it's such a like a stick-proof kind of coating on it. That's nearly boiled already. Gets me is people can't cook eggs, right? You see them doing all this outdoor cooking and they have everything at 5 million degrees because they've got it straight on a flame or they've had it on the burner for ages, and they'll chuck some eggs in and you just know that it all looks pretty from a distance, but the underside of that egg is scorched to death and it's horrible. So if you're doing that, have a word with yourself. But what I do is I'm going to take it off the heat. That's turned right down now and stuff. Let the pan cool down. Then put your egg in and just cook it slower. And it takes a bit longer, but it cooks all the way through nice and even, rather than having raw at the top and scorched at the bottom. It's I don't know why people have to cook at 1,000. It just, you know, when you're watching it and you're just shouting at the monitor. It's just me, innit? It's always a sign of a good egg when you when the shell's nice and thick and don't want to bust. I had some eggs the other day and you just looked at them and they're cracked. Let's get some warmth in this. Like I say, if it starts to cook too fast, just turn it down. Don't cremate the thing. And just keep turning it. So it'd pretty much be scrambled eggs and bacon. What more do you need? The middle bit's starting to cook again. Just keep turning it. It's one of them things you're going to keep an eye on, because if you are cooking with thin camp gear, you're always going to get a hot spot in the middle. That's cooking quite fast. I'm just going to take that off a second. I suppose this is the downside of having a really efficient kind of cooker, isn't it? If you could get a little bit more off the flame, you could close this down. You know, a little bit of an oven. It's getting hot again. As soon as it starts to sizzle, take it off. There's enough residual heat in that pan and in everything around it that it's going to continue cooking. If you're not sure on this, go on Gordon Ramsay's page and have a look at how to make scrambled eggs, because that's one of his tests that he gives people, because it's one of the easiest things to get wrong. And a lot of people will cook that a bit more, but because you've cooked it through, it's nice and soft consistency and it's not an absolute mess. That definitely didn't end up as an egg banjo. We're totally safe with that one. Right, so what we'll do, I'm not going to mess your plate up. I'm just going to get a bit of bread, get some of that on it, so then there's not an extra piece to wash up. I'm going to get that back up to temperature again and make another brew. Oh yes. Done a full kettle full. Don't need a full kettle out of this. It's surprising. It doesn't look that big of a kettle, but it's probably enough for 2 good cups. So that's full. We've got a bit left for washing up. So, there we are. dear. See, there'll be YouTubers out there that totally edit this stuff out because they're perfect. It's like that. Oh, that was special. Where's my washie? Tell you what we're going to do. Prioritise. HP brown sauce. I love that storage system. It's a camp cover one if you're wondering. Everything is just to hand. There we go. Bacon, egg sarnie, brown sauce, no mess. Decent. Time. It's just a case of turning the isolator valve off. Got a little quick disconnect on here. That's that one separate. Flip the thing over. Fold the legs in, just push the little gas tap thing. Oh, don't want to go down, sprung loaded, and then that's that one packed away. Like I say, if you've got the storage box, they all just slot in nicely. It's on my list, but what I do is I just buy one of these little bits of kit every month or two or something, and it's slowly turning into a kit. It's just, you know, as it comes along. Nice cooker, nice bit of kit. So that's that one. If you've got the jet boil, these, if you're on foot, these are bloody awesome. So what you've got, basically it all folds into the cup, and it's a nice thermal cup with a neoprene outer and a good lid. You can, this is the small one, you can get a bigger one. You can get a boil in the bag in here. This is why I like this. Stu got me this one. I've been wanting one of these for ages and I ain't got it. And what you can do is you disassemble the whole thing and it all packs into the cup, so it's not taking up too much space. And if you've got like a kind of molly load carrying bag or what have you, you can get the pouches that sits just inside nice, so you can have like your whole cook set, you know, just in one little pouch, which is it's always a nice little touch, isn't it? So yeah, like I say, if you're with a vehicle, the Ridge Monkey every day. If you're on foot, probably the jet boil. Before that, like I say, there's cheaper options and they do work. It's just they've not refined it down to where it's comfortable and nice. So your choice. One thing. I've always wanted to do like a real. I want a Realtree vinyl wrap on this, but it's just too much money. I think it'd be about $2.5–3 grand, which there's no way I'm paying that for stickers. I know it's got its ups and downs and all the rest of it, but I can repaint the thing for 500 quid, so it's just a no-go. So I was going to redo it in this is olive green at the minute. It says olive drab on the tin, but it's olive green. And it's the military olive green, except for I've done it in a high gloss rather than a satin, so it looks different. I want a bit browner, with a bit more brown and a little bit more grey in it. So I'm 50-50. Do I respray it as that because I think it's a better winter colour, or do I do the Realtree camo? Because you've probably seen in my older videos I do airbrushing and custom paint. So I'm thinking about doing the whole thing in trees and Realtree and airbrushing the thing to death. But I don't want it to look cheap and tacky like I've just done it. I don't know. I think it looks good, but then I think with all nice shiny, if I redo all the trims, light surrounds, everything like that all new, I think it'll look smart. So I don't know, I'm thinking about doing that as a see how it goes. If it looks awesome, get a big Bug Out Vehicles UK logo on the side of it. If it looks awesome, good stuff, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, then I can do the original paint job. Let us know what you think, whether you think the camo, because I know people are going to say, oh well, it stands out, you've got all there's no hiding this thing in an urban kind of setting. It stands out, and I think the camouflage, I don't know, I think it's worth a look. Let me know whether you think I should just go straight for the bling bling paint job, or whether I should do the airbrushed one. Before I set off, just checking Patreon again. Brian Fredrickson, I hope you have a really good trip. You're going out to high mountain areas. So yeah, that sounds awesome. Have a good one, stay safe and everything, and yeah, to all the other Patreons as well, thank you. There's not mega activity on the Patreon page. I'm going to try and make it like a bit of a hangout page with some extra little bits if you want it on there. Just let me know, because it's getting to the point now where it's hard to reply to every comment and sift out people from the lots and lots of comments. Same with the Instagram, things like that. So what I want to try and do is make it like a little core thing. So if people start interacting a little bit more on there and using the community page, because I think if you click over from my posts, there's a community section, so you can put your own things on. So if any of the Patreons want to show their setup or their little things, or even put their YouTube channel on it or things like that, go for it. And like I say, on the high tier Patreon thing, it's the best time of year now, so if you're wanting to come out on a camp, let's get this organised, and we'll find somewhere that's kind of central, or we can go to one of my little locations so I know where all the amenities are, whatever, and we'll sort that out. So yeah, we'll get on that. Tell you what, you know you're in a nice location when you walk around for 5-10 minutes and the best you can find is one old bottle top and one old Haribo wrapper. That's not bad at all for this day and age, is it? Yeah, awesome. Right, so there we are, all packed up. No sign of us being here. A little bit of there's footprints where grass has been pushed down and stuff, but nothing major. And yeah, let's get the last bit of the camper all packed away, and we'll get out of here.